What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, overnight here in Australia, EA have gone ahead and they have dropped icon moments, the first set of them. There's 34 of them in packs, so I think there's probably going to be 3 batches. But also on top of that as well, we have icon swaps too. So for the first season, we have a total of 9 tokens, and the next season after March 26th, we're also going to have another 9 tokens. So a total of 18 tokens once again this season for icon swaps 2. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about icon swaps 2, the players, the packs, and what you guys should take. So hopefully you guys do find it informational, and if you do, don't forget to smash a big thumbs up and also drop a subscribe. But anyway, boys, before we get into the actual tokens and the players themselves, I do want to talk about a bit about the objectives and the grind that's required to get these icon swaps. Now, for the total of the icon swaps, there is a total of 80 games minimum, I'm pretty sure, that you guys have to play. 44 of them are in live friendlies. We've got 7 wins in both, 14 wins total for one nation. And then for each of the leagues, you have to at least play 10 games minimum. So that's a total of 44 games. Now, also on top of that, we've got 18 games in squad battles and 18 games in weekend league. I think they've actually done all right with this. Obviously, it's a big grind, but you guys have 34 days, so make sure you just spread it out over time. You should be able to get it done. The only thing that's going to be a bit hard for some people is the weekend league, because I know some people just generally can't qualify for weekend league, so that is a bit of an issue. But besides that, everything else seems pretty alright. It's not too unreasonable. There's no cap this time for one nation, I'm pretty sure as well, so you guys should be able to get this done over time, and it doesn't seem too bad, but it's just it's a big grind. That's the reality of it. So just make sure you get it done. Don't leave it to the end, and you'll be able to get all your tokens very, very easily. Now, moving onwards, boys, let's talk about the players and icon swaps too. And I gotta say, this year EA they haven't done very good. I think last year icon swaps 2 was probably pretty underwhelming. And this is even worse, I gotta say. Like, for example, last year we had Prime Essien, we had a base Vieira, we had base Ronaldinho. There was also on top of that a baby Blanc, who's better than the mid Blanc and Prime Blanc in my opinion, because you can use him as a midfielder. And then also as well like a base Sam Brother that was available from Icon. So there's actually some meta icons that you could actually use. And right now on the market, a base Vieira goes for something like 2.5, 2.6 million coins. So when you consider it, and you consider the players that kind of dropped this time round, it is very underwhelming. And I have like if you guys feel like you're like, what's the point of this? It seems very, very meh. I completely understand. It's not good enough personally for myself, like what I think from EA. And they need to be doing better, especially when you consider some of like the later tokens you can only get from April onwards. They're already behind the power curve when you put them into your team. So that's what I personally think. But anyway, let's get into the players first, and then we'll talk about the packs. First of all, for 7 tokens, we get a Deco. It's an entry-level card. I think for a Moments card, it's actually not terrible, because you got good Portuguese links, you can sub him off. But he's not going to be very meta. You guys know Deco in game doesn't feel the best. But the stats of the card don't actually look too bad. But yeah, so for 7 tokens, you can get a Deco. Then moving onwards, we've got Ashley Cole's Prime version for 9 tokens. Now, realistically, if you've got Theo Hernandez, if you've got, what's the dude's name? Alphonso Davies. If you've even got Mendy, if you've got Adama, there's so many good left backs in this game. Realistically, a lot of people aren't going to be using this card. If you are a Chelsea fan, if you're an Ashley Cole fan, go ahead and do it, you know. But for me personally, I just don't think this is worth it. You can get this done right now though, so this is an option that you can get done right now, and that's the same thing as well with this Deco card. So if you desperately need an icon for your team, that's right there, that is an option. But neither of those cards are very they're quite underwhelming in my opinion, and they already get outshadowed by cards that a lot of people already have in their teams. So especially with the left back position, it's not that important. You can chuck a Mendy there and he'll do the job. Now moving forward, we do have for 11 tokens Mark Overmars. This card doesn't have any skill moves. He's got 3-star skills, but he's also got 5-star weak foot. He's going to be pretty hard to deal with if you're a very good run and gun player. I'm personally not. I need my skill moves in the attack, so that's an issue for me. I think this year in FIFA with the 5-star skills is so important. So having 3-star skills on an attack is pretty rough. And what I will say as well, it's another left mid. You guys know we have Neymar, we have Rashford, we have Ribery, we have El Shaarawy. There are so many left wings in this game that realistically, like, if you guys are going for another left mid in this game, I don't know if it's really all too worth it. Like, positionally wise, he's not going to really help you too much with chem as well. So that's what I would personally say. Like, most people probably at this time have a Neymar, and this Neymar's going to outshine this card just based on the fact that he's got 5-star, 5-star. So That's kind of the way it is. That being said, his stats actually don't look too bad. You got good pace, great dribbling, decent shooting as well. So if you were to play this as a striker, like as a running behind player, I think he would do a bit of damage, but you guys got to realize that you're only going to be able to get this card March 26th onwards. So by that time, what sort of cards we're going to be looking at, I don't know, but I think he's going to be behind the power curve. Now, this is the first card from the batch that I would actually go ahead and recommend. If you're going to take any of the icons, I think Laurent Blanc is probably the best shout. Now, I think EA had a visual where there was like advertising the Prime on the thing, so I don't know if this gets changed to the Prime or something like that, but regardless, the Prime and the Mid are very, very similar. This card is ridiculously good. I played with him for about 5 weekend leagues. Obviously, sometimes he can be a tad slow. Chuck a shadow on him shouldn't be a problem, but the man is a man mountain. He's standing at 6'4", medium high work rates with good, so those are really good work rates, and he's also got 3-star weak foot. But the most important thing about this card is the build, as well as also the physical stats and like how he reaches. He's got 84 strength, so not the craziest thing, but trust me, in game he's so hard to pass. He's really good, and his tackles are really consistent. And what I would say, and the reason why I would recommend this card, is I know a lot of you guys potentially are still running Joe Gomez's, Varane's. You guys know that those sort of cards you can put in your team and they'll do a job. Center backs is here and defenders is here. You don't have to have top tier cards. So that's the way I think about it. An icon center back like Laurent Blanc, you can potentially just chuck into your team. You don't need to think about ever putting him out of your squad, maybe until team of the season. And this card will do a good job for a long time. And then also on top of that, he's got great French links. When we think about Mendy, Theo Hernandez, some of the French center backs that have been recently released with future stars, this is a great option. So if I was going to take any of the icon players, and I know maybe potentially a lot of you guys potentially need an icon center back, this is a great shout. So if I was going to recommend any of the players, I think Laurent Blanc is the one I would kind of go for. So yeah, definitely say if you guys want to take a Laurent Blanc, I'd say go for it. I think it's one card that, because he's a center back and because he's a defender, and because that's a card you can put there, you don't have to think about it, chemistry gets sorted, it's a great option. Now, moving onwards, we do have Emilio Butragueño. It's his baby card, though, for 15 tokens, a total of 15 tokens. This card is very good in game. But by the time you get this in April, I just don't know if it's going to be worth it. And the argument, again, has to be made where, do you guys want to be playing with a base Butragueño in April? That's the reality of it. By the time that comes around, we're probably going to have for birthday. There's probably going to be a few other promos. The way I see it is, I would personally rather be playing with some other cards over Butragueño. That's what I would personally say. But that being said, he hasn't got the skill moves, but he has got great weak foot, and this card is really good. But I think at this point, for 15 tokens, realistically, EA should be dropping a mid or a prime. That's what I would like to see. But hey, it is what it is, you know, and it's a bit underwhelming. For me, I can't recommend you guys take this just because it is just the base card, and it just doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to take it at this point in time. And then finally, for 17 tokens for the players, you can get yourself a Moments Roberto Baggio. The card doesn't look too bad, looks pretty good. I played with this prime card in draft. Not the fastest, but he has got a very nice dribbling. His dribbling's very nice, and he's also got 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot. Now, the problem with this card that stands out glaringly in the face for me is the shot power. Shot power is so important this year because it actually puts the power into shots, if that makes sense, right? But it means that, like, your clinical finishes, the reason why they shoot very well is because they have really high shot power and really high finishing. So when you get into that spot inside the box, when you just hit a shot with high shot power, it just flies into the back of the net. The ones with low shot power kind of just like are very easy for the keeper to save. So that's why I think for sometimes, if you don't have the right chem style on Neymar, I think Neymar is the most important stat you need to boost on him if you're going to play him as a striker, is the shot power. And I think a lot of players, the shot power is the one stat that I think a lot of people do overlook. The finishing is really good on the card, but I think the shot power will let him down. So that's kind of like my thought process. But for 17 tokens, I don't think it's really too worth it. That's what I would say. I think there could have been a lot of other cards they could have put here. I would have liked to see a newer icon put here, personally, but it is what it is. EA can choose what they want to do, and it's just a bit underwhelming, realistically. Now, we move over to the packs, and I gotta walk you guys through the packs real quick. We've got an 8125, 8225, 8325. As you guys know, really great fodder. This replaced 2 ultimate packs, and I think it's actually a worthwhile replacement because usually you don't get a 2581s in 2 ultimate packs. So that's a really good shout. This as well is pretty good compared to the 85.5 because you get a lot more fodder as well. So I think that's a great shout. And the 8325, you guys know, is a really good pack. So if you want to take any of these 3 packs, I kind of say recommend it. I say go ahead. It's 10 tokens for all 3 of them, so if you wanted to do that, you could. But that is completely up to you. Now, moving onwards, for 8 tokens, we have a base icon pack, and for 9 tokens, we have a mid icon pack. Now, I'm pretty sure price-wise, this was 12 tokens, and then this was like 14, if I'm not mistaken. So they've really dropped the rate, like how much is required for the token-wise on these icon packs compared to last season. I would say if you guys are going to go for anything from these 3 sort of packs, I would potentially go mid or prime and a base icon if you really wanted to, or if you really want to get the mid icon right now, you could do that and get that straight into your team. I think that's why they priced it at 9 tokens. But what I would recommend even higher is, I would say take a mid or prime and then also go ahead and get the 8325 and 8225, because what I think you'd be able to do, depending on the price of an icon SBC later down the line, you'd probably be able to craft one of these 2 packs with that fodder in this. Like, you guys know the fodder's pretty good from this. We usually get a couple walkouts, if not 3 or 4. And then also on top of that, you have a chance for some special cards. If you come to FUT Birthday or you come to a later promo down the line, you also have the chance of getting those sort of cards as well. So I'd kind of recommend you guys go for like the middle prime, and then also on top of that, the 8325 and the 8225, as well as like that might be the better shout. But look, if you really want the mid icon pack right now, I'd say go ahead for it. It just does limit you a bit later down the line. So that's kind of deal. But I can understand people definitely take the mid icon pack, because that's a chance at an icon that can get into your team straight away and could actually be a lot better than all of the selections of icons that they've done. Now, moving onwards, you got a prime pack for 12 icon swaps, and then also a 91 plus prime pack for 14. What I will say about this, and what you guys have to keep in mind, is that the 91 plus icon pack does not actually get rid of too many of the bad icons. There's quite a few that it does get rid of, but you're also getting rid of Rio Ferdinand. You're also getting rid of Essien, and I think Zambrotta. That's the other one that you're getting rid of. So there's 3 packs right there, that like 3 players right there that are really top tier that you kind of are missing out with this 91 plus. But that being said as well, there are a lot of good icons in 91 plus. But I'd kind of say for 2 extra less tokens, and then you still also have the chance to claim the 8325. I would more so say that you guys should probably go for the prime icon pack. That's what I would personally go for out of these 2, because I think that there's not too much of a benefit where it slashes away some of the icons comparatively to just doing this, and then you also have some fodder coming in. So that's what I would probably say, but hey, that's up to you. It's up to what you want to do. If you want to do the 91 prime icon pack, then go ahead. And then finally, for the final pack, for 16 tokens, they dropped a prime and a moments pack, and I would say personally, and this would be what I'm going to take, this is definitely not a bad shout. Obviously, you're going to be able to get this in March, April, but getting a Moments card, if it's a good Moments, it's an end game card. Moments cards for a lot of people are going to stick in their team for a long time. That's just kind of the way it goes. Unfortunately, if it's an unusable icon, then it's not the most, like, you can't do anything about it. But that being said, who knows, you might not get a good icon through these. So giving yourself the chance to get yourself like a Moments, a Hullet, or R9 or something along those lines, that's an end game card that you can use for such a long time. And even if it's someone like a Moments Essien or like a Moments Blanc, something in like that mid tier range, that's going to be useful well into team of the season. So that's what I would say. I think this is probably the best gamble like that I'm probably going to go for if you're going to take any of the higher tier stuff. What I will say is they didn't drop a player pick. Last time around we had a base icon player pick, I think for 17 tokens, and I didn't say it was a good idea at the current point in time, but looking at the share plays and what people actually got from those, it actually seemed ridiculously good. And I'm a bit disappointed that EA didn't give us this option this time, because I would have loved a mid-icon player pick with the chance to get a Hullet or an R9 or like a Vieira or like all these top tier icon cards. I think it's a bit of a shame that they didn't do it, but it is what it is. But I think if you wanted to go for the Primal Moments icon pack, then you could definitely do that. But I've got to say, overall, you guys can tell it's a bit underwhelming. The player selection's pretty poor, and then also with the packs, it's kind of just like, it is what it is, right? Like the packs, I would have loved to see, I think there was also in the pack code a Moments icon pack, but they never actually dropped it at any point, like in the swaps. So I would have definitely done the Moments icon pack for 16 tokens. But if you want to gamble this, it's not a bad shout, right, boys? Now, what I would say for some of the combinations that you can do, if you want to take any of these, like if you want to just take these three just generally, not a bad shout. You get a lot of fodder. I know fodder is really expensive this year, so go ahead and do it. You could probably craft something at the same time. What I would say for the, like, if you wanted to take a mid icon pack right away, you could do that. Just keep in mind that you are probably going to be left with a token left over at the end of next season, so that's something to keep in mind. The other thing I would say as well is you could do a base or a mid pack, mid or prime pack, and also a base icon pack if you wanted 2 icons this year. But what I would say, what I'd recommend more so is potentially going mid or prime and then also going for the 8325 and the 8225. And that way you can craft yourself that pack or an equivalent better pack using the fodder from that, and you also have the chance to get special cards. So that's the reason why I would say that. Wouldn't potentially recommend Ashley Cole or Deco just because I don't think they're that great for the amount of tokens you have to put it in. Overmars is kind of the same thing with the left mids in the game. If you wanted to go a prime icon pack as well as also, I think you could do the 25 pack. It's a very good shout. I definitely rate that. And then on the same token as well, this is the only icon I recommend from this like set of the actual icon players. Laurent Blanc as well as A325 pack, a very good option. He's incredible in game. Really, really recommend him. So if you want to do Laurent Blanc with the A325 pack, that's a great shout. Now, again, if you want to do the 91 prime icon pack, go ahead, fill it out with some packs as well. That's a good shout as well. But again, I'd probably go the prime icon over the 91 plus. And then finally, I wouldn't personally take Butragueño. I think it's just too much for a baby card or Baggio, unless you really love Baggio. But that's up to you. But for me personally, I think what I'm going to personally be taking, and what you could do as well, is a Primal Moments icon pack. You have the chance to get something good. And then also on top of that as well, you got the 8125 pack, which is 2 tokens. So you could combo those 2 up. You get some fodder into your club. You also get yourself a prime / moments card. And at least there's a chance at something that's going to stay in your team for the rest of the year. And that's the thing, right? You guys got to think, by the time you guys get this, how long is it actually going to play in your team? I think for the majority of these cards, they're not going to stay around for too long. Blanc is the exception, I would say. I think he can stay definitely until Team of the Season. But that being said, by the time that comes around, Team of the Season might be right around the corner. So even that's like a bit iffy and up in the air. But that's what I would say for icon swaps for this season. It's kind of underwhelming. And EA really, really needed to do better with this set. I was saying once again, last year, probably icon swaps 2, a lot better. But hey, it is what it is. And the fact that we can't get like anything past this point onwards until like March, April, keep that in mind, boys, because by March, April, do you really want to be playing with a base Butragueño, you know? That's kind of like what you have to think in mind. But hopefully that helps you guys. And yeah, that's kind of like the deal with icon swaps. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are going to be picking up from icon swaps, if you are going to be choosing anything. For me personally, I think I'm going to go with 8125 and then also the private moments pack, just to give me a chance of getting something good. But yeah, it's just it's a bit of a shambles this time around. And I do really hope that in the future, EA start dropping some of these top tier icon moments SBCs, as well as also for icon swaps 3. I hope they give us some actually like usable endgame cards. But knowing EA and the way they've been pricing these icon things, they've kind of really just been giving like you a max from swaps, about a 1 to 1.5 million coin card as like the top tier card. So it's been definitely underwhelming, but it is what it is. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you found it informational. If you did, don't forget to smash a big old thumbs up, drop a subscribe as well. And yeah, best of luck in your icon subscribe. Hopefully it goes all well. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Take care. Have a good one. And peace.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul.